Hello, glad you could join us for Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguela. Welcome. The 2025 first ordinary session of ECOWAS Parliament has ended in Abuja with a call for regional peace, security and people-driven development. At the closing session, President of ECOWAS Commission Omar Aliu Toure presented the annual mid-term report on the state of the community to the Parliament. ECOWAS Parliament correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
2 weeks of debate now is over, with hopeful resolutions for better West Africa.
De la présente session, pour vous réitérer ma sincère gratitude pour la confiance.
Despite challenges believed to be facing the ECOWAS community, characterized by political upheavals in 3 member states as well as a slowdown in global economy, the region is witnessing economic growth.
The growth will be driven mainly by the 4 largest economies, namely Senegal 6.5%, Ghana 4.0%, Nigeria, and Cote d'Ivoire. Inflationary pressures in ECOWAS is expected to ease slightly in 2025 to 19.7%, compared to 24.8% in 2024.
Other key areas in the year under review include the restoration of democratic transition in Guinea, operationalization of ECOWAS standby force to fight terrorism, single currency program, and promotion of common market and private sector development in the region.
Our people want a safe and secure environment.
We have been told that countries do not fully respect their commitments to pay the community levies.
The state legislature amended its rules of procedures to adapt to current realities and improve transparency in decision-making process. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Nigeria is set to close the milk production gap by unlocking the vast potential of its dairy value chain. The country aims to produce an additional 1.2 billion litres of milk annually over the next 5 years. Currently, Nigeria produces about 600 million litres of milk per year. However, key stakeholders are pushing a new narrative, one that seeks to transform the dairy sector into a more productive, resilient and inclusive industry. At a dairy conference held in Abuja, the Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Meha, emphasized that the efforts to strengthen the sector are collective, framed as building blocks for national development.
We need in this sector in the not-distant future. We are not threatening any global player. The sky is big. We will not clash. We just want to take our rightful position. Our goal is ambitious, but achievable. To double Nigeria's milk production from 600,000 metric tons to 1.2 million metric tons in the next 5 years.
And they have really demonstrated strong commitment to local sourcing, capacity building and dairy infrastructure. So the EU is collaborating with them and the broader ecosystem to deepen their engagement by developing more sustainable growth pathways.
The event also featured exhibitions by key players across the dairy value chain, showcasing innovations, products and initiatives aimed at boosting local milk production and processing. In other news, the federal government, through the Ministry of Finance, incorporated Family Homes Funds Limited and ARM Investment Management have unveiled plans to ease mortgage terms for federal civil servants in Nigeria under the Murphy Real Estate Investment Fund. Now, this was at the signing of a collaboration agreement among the parties in Abuja. Nneka Oko reports that under the agreement, the Murphy Real Estate Investment Fund and Family Homes Funds Limited will jointly provide significant portions of the required mortgage funding, reducing the equity contribution for home buyers to just 10%. This is in addition to reducing the interest rate for civil servants to a single digit, thereby providing them with more affordable housing options.
As an investment management company with our portfolio companies, we are constantly in the markets to find funds that are cheaper, whose interest rates are lower, so we can pass on those savings to Nigerians. And this is one of those that we've been working with family homes funds to find funds that are much cheaper than we had before. And the savings from those cheaper funds are being passed on to Nigerians through lower cost mortgages.
Nigerians should have easy access, and it shouldn't be so difficult in any way, shape or form to access these mortgages.
We managed to raise 250 billion, coming partly from Ministry of Finance and partly from the private sector. So we as fund manager, we are managing the fund.
And still on providing affordable housing, we hear ongoing comprehensive engagements between various organizations in the housing ecosystem. Guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria believe is creating a paradigm shift in the federal government's efforts at ensuring affordable and accessible housing for all citizens. Well, they are applauding President Bola Tinubu for providing the political backing needed to eliminate housing deficit across the country. Lydia Sampson will tell us more.
Towards deepening the basic concept of affordable housing, guests on Good Morning Nigeria are on the same page that state government support in providing land is key. They acknowledge federal government's plan can only be realized with all stakeholders on board.
We decided to venture into construction financing so that we can control the prices at which these houses are delivered for our members. And I keep saying, in Nigeria, we have houses we do not need, and we need houses that we do not have. If you go through the streets of Abuja or any major city, you see a lot of empty houses. Why is this? Those houses are not affordable.
Housing is key. It's a serious matter. When you house your staff, when it comes to the office, on the second day, that's productivity. If he has not slept well, the possibility that when he gets to the office, he'll be sleeping is there. Meaning, there's a correlation between housing and productivity.
Of the need for all of us to chip in something to make for affordability for Nigerians to have the housing they need.
Though there are still challenges, guests on the program believe 2 years of President Bola Tinubu having created a standalone ministry on housing is determined to make sure housing is prioritized to change the deficit situation for good. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
1 year after the presidential compressed natural gas initiative, well, they say even those doubting the viability of the program are singing a new tune. A statement by Michael Oluwagbemi, Program Director, Chief Executive, stated that with over 50,000 vehicles and rising to 100,000, the queues at CNG stations are naturally going to rise due to unprecedented increase from mere 4,000 in vehicles in the past as a result of massive incentives provided by the Tinubu administration and the breakthrough in awareness due to the economic benefits of the switch. He said already the necessary infrastructure to support the initiative is being provided, with several CNG stations set to be inaugurated in the coming months. As the peak days of this year's Hajj draw nearer, Saudi Arabia's Ministry of Hajj and Umrah, in collaboration with the Council of Senior Scholars and the King Abdulaziz Foundation for Research and Archives, engaged stakeholders at a grand Hajj symposium in Makkah to brainstorm on contemporary Hajj jurisprudence, sharing knowledge in support of pilgrims. Tokpe Alabi reports.
The Grand Hajj Symposium was first launched in 1978 and has successfully become a knowledge-based practice and scientific-oriented platform for advancing fulfilling Hajj exercise for pilgrims across the world. And the 49th edition is encouraging constructive dialogue to foster understanding and cooperation, as well as facilitate ease of performing Hajj in contemporary times, while upholding its moral and ethical values.
It's really important to express the importance of facilitating this Hajj and looking at all the current issues, trying to cope with all changes.
The holy mosques and serving the pilgrims with a great responsibility. It's been inherited with our leadership, and in this pillar it held heart and body worshipping and money worshipping, and in Hajj it's a very hard process but not above normal.
The Grand Hajj Symposium serves as a platform to discuss various jurisprudential matters that relate to Hajj, especially its application in the contemporary Hajj practices. From Mecca in Saudi Arabia, Tokbe Alabi, NTA News.
The federal government declares Friday, June 6th and Monday, June 9th, 2025 as public holidays to mark this year's Eid al-Adha celebration. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, makes the announcement in a statement congratulating the Muslim Ummah and encouraging them to embrace the values of sacrifice and faith. He also urges prayers for peace and prosperity in Nigeria while reaffirming the government's commitment to reforms under the Renewed Hope agenda. The minister calls on all Nigerians to support efforts to restore the nation's greatness. All right, time to find out what is happening in Lagos, and Hingino John Adams is set to take us on that.
Thank you, Ruth, and welcome to Lagos. Ensuring digital inclusion for schools in rural, underserved and unserved communities in Nigeria will go a long way in creating a viable and empowered population that is not limited by its location. Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy stated this at a stakeholders engagement on the Universal Service Provision Fund Impact Alliance in Lagos. Joel Popola has the report.
Established by the federal government, the USPF main objective is ensuring ICT access for all Nigerians regardless of status and geographical location. The education sector is one area this goal can be speedily achieved. There have been many interventions of the Universal Service Provision Fund since 2007. The USPF has invested in digital infrastructure, funding over 2,500 education projects nationwide. The Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, says the engagement with ICT and education experts is to ensure sustenance of the project.
And a progressive society at times is not one where you expect government to do everything right. It's the people who truly care and who have the understanding, fighting to find ways to make sure those things are working for society. So that's what today is about. Whatever we learn from this, if we're able to make it work for Nigeria, will then inspire every other thing that USPF does. Because we also invest in health, right? We're trying to break connectivity gap in rural areas.
The USPF Secretary Yomiaru Shafe is optimistic that engagement and suggestions of experts will serve as a catalyst for better implementation.
Universal Service Provision Fund, it comes in to bridge the gap where it seems a bit difficult for people to probably, if it's not commercially viable or something, people don't go there. But we, the Universal Service Provision Fund, we are social in nature.
The stakeholder engagement is expected to guide the path to digital inclusion and ICT access for all Nigerians. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
The Nigeria Customs Service and its counterpart in Benin Republic have deepened synergy to digitize and harmonize cross-border trade through SIGMAT, an ECOWAS project that aims to facilitate trade and transport within the region by implementing an interconnected system for managing goods on transit. Joel Popola reports that controller of customs in both countries agreed that the initiative will enhance trade and block revenue leakages.
It is a major leap forward for Nigeria and Benin Republic, with Semekrake border now expected to be a beehive of trade facilitation courtesy of the SIGMAT connectivity and ECOWAS project that is now gaining traction, with each free movement of goods, and the custom administrations of the two countries have agreed to deepen synergy towards ensuring the success of the initiative. Controller General of Nigeria Customs Service Adewale Adeniyi says SIGMAT reflects Nigeria's strategic ambition to align with global best practice and modernize trade along the corridor. The CG says the technology will be deployed to other border posts in the country.
We have seen the possibility of fraud, diversion, when you manage transit, even in developed countries. And the system that we have put in place is resilient enough, is strong enough to take care of those challenges. We've seen it work in 7 other customs administrations within this corridor. We have automated our processes and our procedures, and that we will also need to carry along all our stakeholders on both sides.
For the Benin Republic Customs, the move will eliminate fraud and other criminal activities which will encourage trade and investment.
The system will really fluidify and facilitate the move of the goods from Abuja all the way through Cotonou to Benin and then through Nigeria. And also when goods are coming from Nigeria to go to use the corridor, SIGMAT will facilitate.
Just as the government is stepping up its game in automation, the Semi-Command is witnessing a facelift with state-of-the-art facilities to boost the morale of officers and men of the Nigerian Customs Service. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
That's it from Lagos. Nationwide continues in Kaduna after this time out.
Thank you very much for joining us here in Kaduna. The federal government is taking courageous steps to create more enabling environment for private sector participation as part of effort to diversify the country's economy and open new windows of job creation. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment disclosed that the federal government is dismantling stumbling blocks that hinder private sector involvement, particularly reducing monopolies that stifle competition and innovation. A report.
With high rate of unemployment, with sizable percentage of its productive population without decent jobs. Despite this, the federal government under President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda is creating a conducive environment for private sector participation to create jobs through various policies for industries to bounce back. This prompted the Minister for Industries, Trade and Investment to undertake fact-finding visit to the largest private conglomerate in Kano to work out ways to strengthen its operations.
Government will continue to provide the support, through BOI and other agencies. Government will continue to provide some in terms of the right policies, that it can put in place, especially when government finds out, as I've found out, the tremendous job that the Umbrella Group is doing. I mean, everywhere I've visited, I've seen crowds of people.
Foreign exchange was the worst thing. It has been solved. The issue we have is cheap finance. Cheap finance is very important. The gas, we have our 31 megawatt gas generation. We have 5 megawatt of solar. If the AKK pipe comes, it helps.
The company currently has more than 13,000 workers, the largest in Kano State, and there are plans to expand its operations to accommodate more workers. In Kano, Yahana Sahasambaro, NTA News.
The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Bala Abubakar, has called for deeper collaboration and increased exchange in programs among military schools across the country. He made the call during the 71st Foundation Day celebration of the Nigerian Military School Zaria. Sagir Muhammad Awal reports.
This display of parade by the boys of the Nigerian Military School Zaria was the peak of activities lined up for the 71st Foundation Day of the NMS. After inspecting the parade, the reviewing officer and the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Bala Abubakar, says the Nigerian Military School will continue to be a formidable training ground for future leaders in both the armed forces and in all spectrum of national life. He reaffirmed his commitment towards the progress and development of NMS and Air Force schools across the country.
At 71 years, Nigerian Military School stands out both as a pillar of academic rigor and military education in Nigeria. Many of the finest officers in the armed forces of Nigeria, including myself, began their journey within these walls.
The president, NMS Ex-Boys Association, Sunday Ingegu, noted the commitment of the association in infrastructural development of the school and ensure it upholds the standard befitting of a military institution in the world.
We thank the Army for making sure that the school gets the required funding to continue to operate as a school. Let everybody come together to ensure that this school continue to withstand, or live to the bidding of its forefathers, the founding fathers.
The commissioning of the upgraded medical reception station, central dining hall formed part of the 71st Foundation Day of the NMS. From Zaria, Sagir Muhammad Awal, NTA News.
And that's our contributions from this end. Nationwide continues in our Abuja studio with Ruth Aguele. Ruth, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. In a bid to keep Edo State clean, the state government has declared a monthly environmental sanitation exercise, which holds on the last Saturday of every month. Residents came out in large numbers to comply with the directive. Uduakbong Achibong reports on the first revived exercise.
A drive through the city revealed varying levels of compliance, with areas outside the city center showing notable participation.
Like with our governor, just bring commerce, and what we don't forget for some years, and he bring them back. We are very grateful.
One of the impacts is the cleanliness and sanity it brings back.
We observed that many residents took the initiative to clean their homes and immediate environments, while non-residential areas conducted their cleanup a day prior to allow waste managers to collect the waste. The state government is committed to making Edo one of the cleanest states in the country. The revived Environmental Sanitation Day is a testament to this commitment.
The state governor has instructed us to do 100% implementation. So we are going to work in line with the law.
To my group of Edo State, please, environmental sanitation has come to stay.
The monthly environmental sanitation exercise is a collective effort to keep Edo State clean. The residents are expected to work with government to maintain a clean and healthy environment for all. In Benin, Uduakobong Achibong, NTA News.
Interesting, right? So let's join Goodluck Enani. He joins us live from Benin to tell us how the state government is going to make Edo State the cleanest states in the country. Good luck. I remember growing up as a child. This is one memory of cleaning, this environmental sanitation, that I cannot forget. You know, it's good to see Edo people embracing it. But tell us.
Thank you very much. Welcome to Benin. The environmental sanitation exercise resumes shortly after the new administration took over. Remember, just as you said some seconds ago, that Edo State is known for cleanliness. During the reign of Adams Oshomole, that was the tradition. And when the administration after Oshomole came, it was briefly observed. 7 years ago, that was when it stopped. Now that the new administration has taken over, it has reenacted that culture. And just Saturday, this last Saturday, the state government flagged off the exercise, and it was observed all through the state. During the period, some offenders were prosecuted, some were taken to mobile court, while others with genuine reason for whatsoever were set free. But the intent there is to ensure that Edo State is clean. Now, the state government has purchased equipment, including payloaders, cleaners, and has also employed over 1,000 cleaners and sweepers across the state. These are the people empowered to ensure that the state remains clean. Now, Edo State says they want to become the best state, the most cleanest state in Nigeria. And I see that being achieved in a few years from now because of the zeal that the state government has attached to the exercise. the exercise.
All right, good luck. Thank you very much for that update. As a proud Edo woman, I would say Edo no they carry last. So we'll keep our eyes as we monitor our development. Thank you. All right. The National Orientation Agency says institutions to nurture the National Value Charter approved by the Federal Executive Council, which outlines the country's core values and principles to foster moral, ethical and cultural reawakening amongst Nigerians, is underway. Kenneth Enanim reports that the Director General of the agency, Lanre Isa Onilu, was addressing the media in Abuja on the achievements of the agency in the last 2 years.
We call it 7 for 7. The country is giving 7, the citizens are returning 7. So it is a reciprocal commitment between the country and the citizens to the well-being of this nation. Even when you are able to put down a value orientation program that can work, there must also be institutions to nurture people. A committee of eminent Nigerians is being constituted, where Rabiu Samad and Elumelu are co-chairmen, with traditional rulers and some, prominent Nigerians as members. So, because there must also be private sector buy-in. So, we are bringing the private sector in through this implementation committee.
Looking at all the issues, the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, alongside the Office of the National Security Advisor and private sector partners, are coming up with conversations on how best to secure the nation's cyberspace from cyber criminals and cyber attacks. Chimdima in the BC reports that the rise in online transactions have created a challenge. By 2026, cybercrime losses from AI-driven attacks to online scams are expected to hit $10.5 trillion globally. In view of this, Nigeria is taking proactive steps by gathering stakeholders for a national cybersecurity conference next month to deliberate on strategies to secure its turf. With predicted cybersecurity skills crunch in the face of increasing cyber threats, stakeholders are encouraging grooming of cybersecurity innovators and creation of products for the booming global cybersecurity market.
We have so many initiatives. Part of it is even embedding digital skills into our formal education. We need to increase our cyber hygiene among our citizens so that they will use the technology safely and responsibly.
Public-private partnership is key in handling our cybersecurity posture, our cybersecurity resilience, and our cybersecurity well-being.
The Nigerian Air Force has rolled out a series of transformative initiatives designed to boost morale, enhance well-being and improve operational efficiency across its units. These include a 100% increase in ration cash allowance as part of the 2025 budget, substantial insurance payouts on their newly introduced group personnel accident insurance policy, a large-scale distribution of new uniforms and accoutrements, as well as an upward review of the monthly electricity subsidy for Sam Ethnan Air Force Base. Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodem, indicates that the initiatives were unveiled by the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, during the commissioning of a newly remodeled 160 ensuite airmen's accommodation at Sam Ethnan Air Force Base, Lagos. Air Marshal Abubakar also announced that the NAF is actively engaging with the Defense Headquarters to review the Armed Forces Manual of Financial Administration with a view to enhancing the overall welfare package. Makurdi, will be our next stop, and Charles Alba will guide us.
Thank you, and a warm welcome to Makudi. About 300 residents of Kanshu community in Makudi, Benue State, have benefited from the free medical outreach organized by the Nigerian Navy Provost and Regulating School, Makudi. Blessing Omeche Ebute reports that the gesture is part of activities marking the Nigerian Navy at 69.
The free medical outreach put together by the Nigerian Navy Provost and Regulating School at the Naval Base Makudi is in line with its corporate social responsibility aimed at providing Medicare and support to the people of Kanshu, which is the host community. A team of medical personnel participated in the outreach, carrying out free blood pressure checks, laboratory tests, health talk, and vaccination against hepatitis B virus.
I have a challenge of high blood pressure and sugar. That's why I came. And I have checked my BP. They say I should go and join the line so that they will do some other thing.
They are taking care of us, like myself. To go for transport is too much, but here now, it's just a trekkable distance. I trekked and I'm here.
Commandant Nigerian Navy Provost and Regulating School Makudi, Navy Captain Henry Eje, represented by the base nursing officer, Lieutenant Aderunke Olayinka, underscores the role that the Nigerian Navy plays, which is not only to protect the maritime environment, but also contribute to the well-being of the host communities.
Our medical center is open to the general public, so we are using the opportunity or the medium to also, sensitize them and inform them to create awareness that beyond here, we have a hospital that can cater to their medical needs.
The Nigerian Navy believes that the outreach will, among other things, enhance community development and improve civil-military relations. In Makudi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
From the security sector comes a report that Air Force says it will continue to equip its personnel to face the country's dynamic security challenges. Air Officer Commanding Tactical Air Command Makudi, Air Vice Marshal Patrick Obeya said this during the 10-kilometer second quarter route march of the command. Again, Blessing Omeche Ebute reports.
The 10-kilometer second quarter route march of the Headquarters Tactical Air Command Makudi commenced from the parade ground at the NAF base through Fidi community and made a U-turn at the NAF checkpoint. Air Officer Commanding Headquarters Tactical Air Command, Air Vice Marshal Patrick Obeya, while stressing the importance of physical and mental preparedness of personnel, says the routine route march is aimed at promoting comradeship and spirit de corps among personnel.
You cannot be operational ready if you're not fit, particularly in view of the myriad of security challenges that the country is confronted with now. We need a fighting force that is resilient.
He commended the personnel for their display of courage and relentless spirit through the exercise. In Makudi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
That's the size of our contribution from Makudi. Nationwide continues with Kemi in our Ibadan Network Center.
To Ibadan. A building undergoing reconstruction has collapsed in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Correspondent Ayomiku Ajibala reports that the state government delegation led by the Commissioner for Lands visited the scene.
The building, located on the main road leading to Dugbe in Ibadan, collapsed due to alleged use of substandard materials in the building's reconstruction. It was learned that the said building was recently acquired by a fast-growing food brand to serve as one of its branches.
Because of rain, breeze, carry it fall down like that. If they do it well, it cannot fall like this.
Meanwhile, Oyo State government, according to the Commissioner for Lands, Williams Akinfumilayo, who was on an on-the-spot assessment of the site of the affected building, said the state government has sealed off the building.
From what I have seen, which has equally been corroborated by professionals from Ministry of Works, together my team here now is a Director of Public Building. She has equally looked at it and confirmed materials are substandard.
He added that the state government will conduct an integrity test on the site and on other outlets owned by the same fast-growing food brand, and if any are found to be structurally compromised, they will also be sealed. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
In a bid to support the efforts of the federal government under the Renewed Hope Initiative, residents of Akpakpa community in Ibadan have been provided with a solar-powered borehole to solve their water challenge. Lukman Hassan, who witnessed the inauguration, tells us more.
Since inception, the Akpakpa community has depended on the sole stream in the village as their source of drinking water and for other domestic chores. The agrarian community that also depends on water as a means of survival trek long distances to get the necessary but scarce commodity. This was what informed the solar-powered borehole to provide water for the people of Abba, Akpakpa and its environs.
We have a Nigeria, a free action Nigeria, and we hope that a lot of other well-meaning Nigeria can come on to help us.
Because so many times we have been witness situations whereby typhoid has been rampant here. Cholera is on daily basis. It's a serious case here. With this one now, we are now rest assured.
For them to come to this area to bring this of magnitude to this area, we really appreciate them, and we need more of it from all the NGOs.
But there is no word that is enough to express my gratitude to these people than to pray to God to reward them accordingly.
Fair Action Mission Nigeria, with its headquarters in Australia, is a non-government organization working towards providing clean water for all Nigerians by 2030. It's also focused on assisting government in providing basic infrastructure to the populace. In Ibadan, Lukman Hassan, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. More reports on Nationwide with Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Kemi. The Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSN, has embarked on industrial action with the Federal High Court chapter, locking out judges, lawyers, staff and litigants from accessing the court premises. This followed the indefinite strike declared by its national body over the alleged government's failure to implement salary adjustment based on the new minimum wage of 70,000 naira and the payments of wage awards. At the Federal High Court headquarters, located along the Shehu Shagari Way in Abuja, all the entrance gates into the high-rise building were on the lock. The Court of Appeal and the FCT High Court in Maitama have been placed under lockdown, with a banner labelled JUSN on strike hung on the gate.
Cheating, is one of the tools of unionism, but unfortunately for us, all our requests, our appeal have been turned down. And that is why we will embark on this strike, even though we are still negotiating. Anytime they call us, we will respond. But we will not call up until our demands are met.
The Supreme Court is opened for adjudication on matters before it as the workers pulled out of the strike.
Which she has put on to see the sources of this payment. It will be an effort in futility for Supreme Court to join this ongoing strike. But we are with them 100%.
Omobonale Akinyemi Obe has taken over the mantle of leadership of the National Senior Citizens Center. Elizabeth Omori reports that at a handover ceremony, the Director General commended Dr. M.M. Omokaro, the pioneer boss who laid a solid foundation for the center, bringing visibility to the issues affecting the aging population and initiating impactful programs.
To know that the renewed hope that the President that is the mantra of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and through our President is actualized, and it is through us that will be showcased, and we cannot do it by just standing at the rooftop and hollowing. It is through you, so you are going to be very, very key in this administration.
In building an inclusive society where the aged contribute meaningfully to socio-economic development. She emphasized that collective efforts will drive the federal government's agenda, leveraging citizen-centered initiatives. A federal government-owned media organization, Voice of Nigeria, is convening a national platform focused on citizens' engagement in understanding and tackling security matters. The upcoming National Citizens Engagement Forum on Security, scheduled to hold tomorrow, Tuesday, that is 3rd June, Director General Van Jibrin Baba Ndache reiterated that it is aimed at seeking solutions and shaping the conversation to move away from lamentations.
Stories and all over, but providing platform in line with global best practices to say, look, come, let the security agencies come, let citizens come, let's engage, let's get what is the way forward. And then we look at it, what is it that, how are security agencies treated in other parts of the world? Because if you want the best from someone, how do you treat that person?
The Director General said the vision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is anchored in the belief that every Nigerian has both a stake and a role in building a safer and more inclusive future. Ahead of the August 28, 2025 National Convention of the People's Democratic Party, the Conference of the PDP Professionals has urged the leadership of the party to ensure the exercise is transparent and credible. This is as a new set of national officers to run the day-to-day affairs of the party are expected to be elected at a convention. The conference, in a statement issued in Abuja by its national coordinator, Obinna Nwachukwu, expressed optimism that the emergence of a new set of national officers would help the PDP overcome its current leadership crisis. It's commended the PDP's National Executive Committee for its decision to hold the convention as scheduled during its last meeting held on May 27, 2025. The NEC had appointed Governor Amadu Fintiri of Adamawa State as the chairman of the National Convention Organizing Committee, while the Bayelsa State Governor, Duye Diri, chairs the zoning committee. In line with the renewed hope agenda of the Tinubu administration, which is aimed at improving the working conditions of staff and security personnel, the Ministry of Police Affairs has taken a significant step towards enhancing healthcare services for its staff. Security correspondent Francis Pham reports that the inauguration of the newly established staff medical clinics by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry aligns with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, which prioritizes the health, safety, and overall well-being of personnel across key national institutions.
Hospitals, and their productivity is lower. But when you provide a clinic, they can go to the clinic and have treatment. Shorter waiting time in the clinic, they are more productive. In the clinic, we have provided good medical laboratory equipment, digitalized medical laboratory equipment. We have copper doctors there, we have copper medical laboratory scientists, we have copper pharmacists, and the medical treatment they are going to have is free of charge.
He notes that the newly inaugurated clinics are equipped to provide primary healthcare services to reduce health-related absenteeism among staff. And sports update will be next.
Super Eagles head coach Eric Che has made changes to his lineup ahead of the international friendly match against Russia after successfully emerging as the 2025 Unity Cup champions. Che brought in 4 new players: Brentford defender Benjamin Frederick, along with home-based talents Isaac Savio, Sodiq Ismail and Sikiru Alimin. These players participated in the recent Unity Cup Invitational Tournament, and the friendly is scheduled to take place at the Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow on Friday. Meanwhile, the international friendly between Nigeria's Super Falcons and the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon has been rescheduled to Tuesday at the MKO Abiola Sports Arena in Abeokuta, following the Confederation of Africa Football (CAF) decision to reject a request to move it to Monday. The first leg of the match was initially set for last Saturday at Remo Star Stadium in Ikenen, but was postponed to Monday and relocated to the MKO Abiola Sports Arena due to the late arrival of the Cameroonian players and officials. The match will now take place on Tuesday, June 3rd at 4 p.m. Nigeria time. Elsewhere, Mauricio Sarri has made a comeback as head coach of Lazio. Nearly a year after stepping down from the role, the former Chelsea and Juventus manager has signed a 2-year contract with Lazio, which includes an option for a 3rd year. Sarri resigned from his position in March 2024 after almost 3 years in charge. And finally, second seed Coco Gauff defeated Russian player Ekaterina Alexandrova 6-love 7-5 on Monday, advancing to the French Open quarterfinals and keeping her hopes alive for her first title in Paris. With sports updates, Omoyemi Unobon, NTA News.
And that concludes Nationwide. Thank you for your company. I'm Bruce Aguilera. Good evening.